I've had Coca-Cola in Istanbul. It's delightful. So I look like I play acoustic guitar on the quad at a college campus somewhere. That's an assumption you can make about me that's true. But what I don't look like is somebody who attracts the off-hours sexual interest of people who work in the sex industry. But I have. When I first moved to New York City, I moved in with an aspiring actress who was paying the bills by being an exotic dancer, as the kids say. And I found this out because she had a habit of leaving her sequined-encrusted thongs hanging to dry in our bathroom. And literally, sequined underwear is only meant to be shown in public because the sequins are like a fishing lure for like drunk businessmen and their money. And she would order a lot of sequined thong underwear, and she would put them on, and then she would come to my door and say, "Does this look good? Do you think people would give me money if I wore this?" And I would say, yeah, I think they would. Because New York City is where you go to have your dreams come true. And I would call my friends in Baltimore and tell them about these things that were happening. They would say, "Dude, I think your roommate wants to fuck you." And they were right. But at the time I was like, well, that wouldn't be a good idea because we lived together. And then one night I was in bed asleep at 2 a.m. and I heard a knock on my door. And she came into my room wearing a long flowing dress, proceeded to climb on top of me and say, "I am taking what I want." And then I decided to start living in the moment. Because like all of my best sex stories, if I were a girl, would be the worst sex stories. But because it's me, we have a parade. So this would go on. This went on semi-regularly for a couple of months, and then eventually trickles off because we had to sleep sometime. But then even as it trickled off, she would. I would hear her when she would talk to people on the phone. She would refer to me as like her fake husband or her someday common law husband, which was probably something to take of note. But because she would still walk around topless, I could not see the Les Miserables style red flag that was being waved in front of my face like it's NASCAR. I'm just too concerned of what's going on in the moment. But sometimes you need someone to shake you out of that moment. So, it's September of 2012. It's 7 a.m. I've been out doing shows really late at night. And I hear a knock on my door. I'm not expecting anyone at 7 a.m. before I have to wake up and go to work. So I ignore it. Is that 5 minutes, right? All right. So walk up, so a little bit longer, and then the knocking gets more intense. I still ignore it. And then the knocking turns into a loud smashing sound. I open my bedroom door to a scene of my front door flying off of its hinges and 5 Brooklyn cops storming into my apartment. And of all the ways I've encountered police in my life, angry is my least favorite. Because I'm of the firm belief that if I annoy a cop much, he might go, "Oh, fuck it, I'll do the paperwork." And then he said the best line. He comes in and says, "You didn't hear me knocking?" Which is going to be his catchphrase in the sitcom I'll include. And I ask, "Well, what's going on?" They say, "We got a call about a mentally disturbed, possibly suicidal person." And they're like, "Oh, they've heard my band." And then they get my roommate's name, and then they take her, and they actually take her overnight to a mental hospital because she had posted insane-sounding Facebook rants, so set those to private when you have them. And then she called me from the mental hospital, and she said that I had something to do with it, and I was conspiring against her, and she was going to sue me if anything happened to her cats, because of course she has cats. But you shouldn't do that because they listen to those calls and your overnight stay will turn into a 3-night overnight stay. So I panicked and grabbed all of my belongings and hid in my friend's apartment because I didn't know if she was coming after me or not. And eventually I talked to her dad, and it got to the point where I thought that she wasn't going to scoop my eyeballs out with an ice cream scoop if I came back. So I had to go back and get the rest of my stuff after I found another apartment in Queens. And she was holding one of her cats while I was moving my stuff out, and she was talking to the cat and referring to it as the cat's daddy, which is unsettling because that cat didn't look anything like me. And I moved to Queens. She hasn't come after me since. And when I told this story to my current girlfriend, her reaction was to say, "At least you got to sleep with a stripper," and then she just posted up. And then we high-fived. So it all worked out. Thank you.